Viewers, the Karnataka government finds itself in the center of a controversy once again after it enacted a law that allows it to tax 10% of the income earned by Hindu temples that earn more than rupees 1 crore per annum. Now viewers, you will remember that there was also another major controversy swirling last week around the Karnataka government when it made certain budgetary allocations. Many people thought that those budgetary allocations were more in favor of one denomination than the other. Viewers, as then and as now, the Karnataka government is being asked to explain the intention behind imposing a 10% tax on temple income exceeding 1 crore. This is what the bill fundamentally says, that the state government will now impose 10% tax on temples that earn more than 1 crore rupees per annum, 5% tax on a temple income between 10 lakhs to 1 crore. These slabs, viewers, have been amended over the last iteration of this bill. The third point, that the temple tax will be used for the upliftment of the economic status of priests and also improving C-grade temples or grade C temples, viewers. These are temples which earn very little money, either through donations or through any other activity. The tax will also provide, quote, quality education to priests' children, unquote. What basically the Karnataka government is saying is that this money will be used only for the purposes of serving the Hindu community in different ways. This means, viewers, however, that the Karnataka government will be able to dip into the income of hundreds of temples to raise resources that it claims, again, underlining this point, that it will only spend on the upkeep of poorer Hindu temples or even to pay salaries of Hindu priests. Some of the temples earn huge incomes from donors or from renting out land and other sources of income. To give you an idea of the amount some temples earn, let me take you through a list of Karnataka's top 10 earning temples. Just top 10, viewers. I'm not going through the about 240 odd temples that earn more than 25 to 30 lakhs a year. I'm just talking about those that earn a substantial amount of money above the 1 crore threshold. And these are the top 10. The Subramanya temple, viewers, in Dakshina Kannada, annual income is 100 crores. The Kolur Mukambika temple in Udupi, annual income is between 90 to 92 crores. The Katil Durga Parmeshwari temple, Dakshin Kannada, annual income 40 to 42 crores. Chamundeshwari temple, Mysuru, annual income between 30 to 33 crores. Viewers, there are several other temples. The Nanjundeshwara temple, Mysuru, income is again 15 to 20 crores. The Savadatti Yellama temple, Belagavi, that earns about 15 to 17 crores per annum. Sri Durga Parmeshwari temple, Udupi, annual income 10 to 12 crores. The Gulagamma temple, Koppal, earns between 8 to 10 crores. Viewers, the list is long and I can constantly go through it. The Ghati Subramanya temple, Bangalore, income 7 to 8 crores. As you can see, viewers, the Karnataka government can raise quite a pretty penny by imposing this 10% tax, because obviously, as I told you, the temple list will include all those that earn more than 1 crore per year. The BJP has of course lashed out and said that this is an Aurangzeb-like jizya being unfairly imposed on the Hindu community, because the Congress is innately, in their words, anti-Hindu, unquote, viewers. It is also said that there is no guarantee that the funds won't be diverted to benefit other religious denominations. A war of words soon ensued with the Congress state government issuing a point-by-point rebuttal. Let me walk you through the points on both sides of the fence, viewers. The BJP version, first up on your screens. The Congress is adopting anti-Hindu policies. The Karnataka government replies by saying the BJP gains by branding the Congress anti-Hindu. It is only playing the Hindu card to rally its voter base. The BJP version is the revenue will be used to fill the Congress's empty coffers. The Karnataka government says BJP government also took 5% from temples earning 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs and took 10% from temples earning above 10 lakhs. This is what they respond to the BJP by saying. The BJP version is that the Congress is eyes on Hindu temples and not other religions. Karnataka government says the funds will be only used for the welfare of Hindu temples. They won't be diverted for the purposes of upkeep of any other religion's place of worship, etc. Now, one of the main arguments used by the Karnataka government and tweeted by the Karnataka Chief Minister, Mr. Siddaramaiah, is that there has always been a mandate to create a common pool. Now, let me quote the Chief Minister. He writes, the contributions to the common pool fund will come from 1. 10% of the net income of institutions whose gross annual income exceeds 1 crore rupees, 2. 5% of the net income of institutions whose gross annual income exceeds 10 lakh rupees but does not exceed 1 crore rupees, and number 3, grants received from the state government. The recent amendment was made solely, it says, to enhance the amount of the common pool. The common pool is administered solely for religious purposes connected with the Hindu religion. The common pool fund, says the Karnataka government, the Congress Karnataka government, has been utilized only for the religious purposes of Hindu institutions since the Act came into force in 2003, and it will continue to be used for the same purposes in the future. It has not been utilized for any other purposes or for the benefits of followers of other religions, unquote. This is the rather elaborate, viewers, response given by the Congress Karnataka government. But viewers, in Siddaramaiah's tweet, the Chief Minister appended a copy of the HRNCE Act of 2007 and beyond, viewers, in which the gaze was directed at clause 19 of this act. But viewers, a plain reading, and here are some hard facts, viewers. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm going to still throw them up. A plain reading of clause 19(1) of the Act seems to suggest that the monies in the common pool can be utilized to aid other religions too. Here's what the Act says. Let me put it out for you, viewers. I am reading, viewers, clearly from all the iterations that have followed the 1997 Hindu Religious Institutions and Charitable Endowments Act. It says, under the clause 9, administration of common pool funds, point A, viewers, the Commissioner shall administer the common pool fund subject to the conditions herein stated and for the following purposes, namely, A, the grant of aid to any other religious institution which is poor or in needy circumstances. The operative words being, viewers, any other religious institutions. Not exclusively Hindu institutions. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but it does appear that the Karnataka government does have the discretion to divert funds from the common pool for the use of other religions if the conditions stipulated in the Act are met. That is, that these institutions are needy or are poor. What is to say that it won't, viewers? Shouldn't such a loophole be closed? As of now, we can only go by the assurances that have been put out by the Karnataka Chief Minister, Mr. Siddaramaiah. And suppose, viewers, at some level, one should believe the Chief Minister. But viewers, shouldn't such a loophole be closed? Why has it been kept open? Why this discretion? These are some fundamental points. And let's ask some fundamental questions on the back of the hard fact, viewers. The hard fact, and I'm going to push it back onto the screen, viewers. Just watch that hard fact. We were told that this money will only be used according to the law for the express purposes of the Hindu religion and its upkeep. But viewers, the hard fact, let's prompt it again, viewers. The hard fact seems to indicate that the very law leaves a loophole for the state government to give grants, to give aid to any other religious institution which is poor or in needy circumstances. Viewers, let's open this up. Let's go across to GS Prasantha, spokesperson of the Karnataka BJP, Kamru Chaudhary, political analyst, and of course, member of the Congress party. We also have with us Rashmi Samant, human rights activist. Asif Sohail, political analyst, will be there with us. Dr. David Frawley, Vedic scholar, joins us. And I want to first begin with Dr. David Frawley. Dr. Frawley, forget about what the BJP and the Congress are saying for the moment. Forget about all of that. I'm not on this. I'm only on the larger principle. Do you believe that any government, any state body should be controlling Hindu temples in isolation, viewers? Dr. Frawley, your response.
Well, first of all, there is no other country in the world that has that view of religion. And there is no other country that taxes the majority religion, namely the Hindus, and lets the minority religions do what they want. In other words, the Hindus do not have the rights of a religion in India. In the United States, that would not happen. Even in UK, it would not happen. So it is a fundamental hypocrisy. And what it is doing, it is telling people that Hindu resources belong to the government to do whatever it wants. The other religions have their rights and sanctity, which the Hindus do not have. It is a discrimination against one religion, and it is a false expropriation. Secularism doesn't mean that secular governments have the rights of religious finances and resources. That does not and hasn't occurred anywhere. For example, in countries like Germany, the secular government actually allows people to give part of their income or taxes to one religion or another. It doesn't take the money itself. So this is a horrible problem in India and a great hypocrisy. And it allowed the Congress government to control all these resources and also then to take money from the Hindus for other causes. And it's created a situation in which then the Hindus have to struggle just for equality. There's no equality or democratic rights of religion under that. And what Congress actually did is they placed the government and the dynasty above the people and above the religion. That's why they didn't build temples. They gave the dynastic names to various institutions. So it is a holdover from that past. It doesn't occur anywhere else.
Right.
And India is not a kingship. A kingship is also anti-secularism. So this needs to be exposed and changed. There needs to be unity and equality under the law relative to religions in India and their right to control their own resources.
That, I think, has been very well summed up by Dr. David Frawley. He needs no introduction, of course, viewers, Vedic scholar. I want to ask you, Dr. Frawley, because, the common argument is this, that, control is necessary because there is a caste system, that temples have been famously exclusivist, that they have not allowed people from other castes to access, they're controlled by Brahmins, etc., etc. Therefore, it is necessary to control these temples. How do you respond to that, Dr. Frawley?
Well, this is very silly because they're taking the money and giving it to non-Hindus. They're not giving it to other Hindu groups. And also, every religious community tends to do that to some degree. You have the Vatican's history of all the things that it has done. They haven't thrown out Catholicism entirely because of that. They've adapted it in some ways. So what's necessary is Hindus have the rights, and then they have to regulate that from within. Why should you say Hindus can't control their resources? They've controlled or they've maintained a country and civilization for 5,000 years. So this is like a false view. And the people who are taking this money aren't using it for the Hindus or even anybody else. It's usually used for their own personal and political needs, which is very anti-spiritual and anti-secular.
Well, Dr. Frawley, thank you for speaking to us. Of course, the Karnataka government has made it clear, not once but several times, that they're not diverting funds collected from these Hindu temples, that they're investing them back into Hindu institutions. The BJP in Karnataka, of course, disputes this. Let's open this up. Thank you, Dr. Frawley, for joining us. I'll relieve you. I know that you have other places to be. Let me open this up. Let me bring in Mr. Kamru Chaudhary of the Congress, Asif Sohail, Rashmi Samant, and of course the spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. I want to ask you a fundamental question right now, Mr. Chaudhary. And this question stems from a fact check that I've done of the Chief Minister's own response. No doubt you might have seen the Chief Minister's tweet. It's an elaborate tweet. There are several paragraphs. I remember in the last tweet that I had made some days back, you got very upset. You called for my arrest or something like that. And it really did create a problem for me, though it was complete misinformation. So this time I have decided to dig deeper and look at the Congress's claim. The Congress says that the common pool fund has been utilized only for the religious purposes of Hindu institutions since the Act came into force in 2003. Fair enough. I don't have the facts right now. I'm not in government. I don't have the accounts, the books to say otherwise. But I find it very strange that clause 19(1) of the HR and CE Act, and you might have seen that clause. It says, and I'll put it back up for you on air so you can have a look at it. It says, the grant of aid to any other religious institution which is poor or in needy circumstances can be made. The Commissioner shall administer the common pool fund subject to the conditions herein stated and for the following purposes, namely, the grant of aid to any other religious institution which is poor or in needy circumstances. Now, you've amended one or two clauses of this particular act, but not this one. Why, sir? Why keep this loophole open?
Rahul, I'm actually, I can't understand the basic logic of the debate tonight, whether it is about the control of the temples by the government, or is it the disbursement of the funds collected from the temples to other religious institutions? What is the exact dispute all about? Because
should I explain to you? There are two aspects of this. There are two aspects.
I understood.
No, one is it secular to control the religious places of only one denomination? Point one. We can debate that. But
can I go
a more focused question, sir. Because this is what is being raised, that this 10% tax on temples is like an Aurangzeb jizya. Therefore, I'm asking you, the CM says, no, this is for the common, you see, we can raise resources for the common pool fund, and that fund is always used. And he cites the law. The law, clause 1, clause 9.1, A says that this is not quite the case, that the law allows the government actually to grant aid to any other religious institution, any other. So why am I going to believe Mr. Siddaramaiah when he says, trust me, this money will only be used for the Hindus?
Well, the highest executive of Karnataka has promised you on Twitter, it's all there in the public domain. And if there has been any diversion of funds, there was a BJP government prior to this Congress government, they could have as well come out with the facts in the future. But the question does not stop here. Okay. Now, when you put me a question on whether this fund should be used by the government, whether to tax the Hindu temples. Now, do you understand what is the condition of taxing other religious places? The Waqf Act clearly states that any religious institution whose income is more than 5,000 rupees will be taxed 7% of their total annual income. Please fact check it.
Second, but the Waqf doesn't give money to the state.
No, wait.
No, that is a fundamental question. Why?
No,
this
who
is ridiculous.
Who is getting it?
No, 1 second.
Ridiculous.
The Waqf gets it. The Waqf gets it. The Waqf can do what it wants to do with it.
No. That is not the fact. You please fact check yourself.
No, 1 second. Mr. Kamru Chaudhary, does the state take money from the Waqf? I'm asking you a simple question. Yes,
who
no.
Who administers who controls the
I'm
Waqf
asking
board?
you.
No,
I'm asking you, sir. Does the state collect money? Does the state? No, 1 second. 1 second, please. I'm asking you a pointed question. Does the state, let's say in Delhi, does the Kejriwal government take money from the Waqf board?
Rahul, you tell me
yes or no?
Board,
yes or no?
It's not so simplistic that
viewers, it is very simplistic. It is very simplistic because the HRNCE Act and the Chief Minister himself is saying it. He is admitting that money will be taken from the Hindu temples. Now, whether it is spent on Hindu temples or wherever they want to spend it. 1 second, sir, this is not fair.
Let me explain my point, otherwise you can...
Yeah, you can explain your point, sir. You can twist the facts. It's okay.
No, I am not twisting the facts. Right. Now come to the basic point. Smriti Irani, the Honorable Minister of the Minority Development Affairs, what did she do from last year? She has started to tax the annual Hajj pilgrimage at 20% tax collected at source. There is a 5% GST on the Hajj pilgrims. So it's not that the Hindus are only being taxed. Now here what happened was that 10 lakh rupees...
Just 1 second, BJP, 1 second, Mr. 1 second. 1 second, I'll come to you.
You
1 second. Kamru Chaudhary, you're not understanding the fundamental point I'm making. Whether the Hindus are taxed or the Muslims are taxed, it doesn't matter to me. Why is the state in the business of religion? Why isn't the Karnataka government passing a law that says we will no longer control temples? Simple. If it is secular.
You must go into the context, Rahul.
Why context?
First and foremost, why did this 1997 Act come into being? Because there is so much widespread corruption in the temple management.
There is no corruption in Waqf management.
Of course,
there is no corruption in Christian church management.
We are fighting because the Waqf board.
So only the Hindus need to be checked by the state.
The Muslims of India are wanting the Waqf board to be free of government control.
Please, viewers, this is where the problem is. You can't be throwing this clangor. It's not as if there is no. No, hang on. We are talking about a secular country, viewers. Look at the Western example. Nowhere in the world. Am I to believe that there are no corrupt denominations in the West? That there are no corrupt management boards of churches in the West? But does any of their governments treat Christians with such contempt that we don't trust you, so we'll manage you? And what does it do, viewers, for the basic tenet of secularism that the Congress wears on its head like a crown? It says we are the most secular. We believe. Ask Nehru. He said very clearly that the Indian government should not be building the Somnath temple. Why? Because we are secular. Here, viewers, Nehru's proteges in government who say we swear by Nehruvian secularism are continuing to manage temples. Why, viewers? In power you say something, in 2024 you say something, in 1947 you say something else. Tell me, Kamru Chaudhary, did not Mr. Nehru say the state has no business being in religion? Yes or no? Did he say it or not? Or was there a context there also?
In fact, that we should be walking the talk right now.
We should be walking. Now let's, Narendra Modi should walk the talk. Why can't Karnataka walk the talk? It should pass a bill. It's a state legislation.
The government that is
he just passed a bill. It should pass a bill to say we don't want to manage temples.
Rahul, dig deep into the bill, and this bill should be an idle bill, endowment bill.
Now let's dig deep into the bill. Let me bring in on this question of a secular state managing religious affairs, whether it is of Hindus, Muslims, I don't care. Rashmi Samant, don't you think there's a hypocrisy? The so-called guardians of secularism here are sitting and imposing taxes and tightening laws which deal with the regulation of someone's place of religion?
Absolutely, Rahul. I come from the temple town of India, Udupi, and we have temples here at every 500 meters. And it's disheartening to see this level of taxation that happens only with respect to temples. And as long as Section 9 of that bill remains that you discussed about before the debate started, all of these assurances are just political speak. What is to stop them from reallocation of these funds, collected under the guise of taxes to other religious institutions? Nothing. It is just political speak. And we know better than others that to never, trust the words of a politician. So I think it's absolutely, foolish to just believe just because Chief Minister Siddaramaiah says that the funds will not be used for other, religious institutions. If he means it, then the amendment should have also nullified Section 9 of the original act, which, presents a loophole to reallocate all of these funds. Secondly, I think when a devotee gives money to a particular temple, it is with the belief that that money will be used for the deity that presides over that land. So there is a definite spiritual connection to the act of donation. So it is, in fact, interference with that connection of a devotee to his deity that the government involves itself in when it tries to even reallocate those funds. So, I think you know this entire pratha which exists in Hindu dharma, that, they pray to a particular deity and there is this special connection with the deity and they want a part of their personal fund to be part of that property. And, through that deity, it wants it to be, indulged in services in that particular property. So when you try to reallocate it, it's also interfering in a spiritual sort of bond that a devotee has with his deity. So there are so many different levels in which this can be, discussed. But the biggest hypocrisy is that the Karnataka state government wouldn't dare to, interfere in this manner, say with a mosque or with a church. In fact, these people give big lectures on secularism. Okay. Germany is a secular state, but in Germany, a portion of the collected tax from everybody, 8%, goes to the church. And if you refuse, you can, opt out refusing to pay that tax. If you refuse to pay that tax, then your children are not allocated good schools. Then, you kind of miss out on a lot of public benefits that you would otherwise get just by paying this tax. So even if you believe or not in the church, in a secular country like Germany, 8% of your income is then allocated to the church. So we have these beautiful examples of so-called secularism all across the world. But when it comes to India, and especially the Hindus, right, everything nullifies and the devotees are taken for a toss.
Let me open this up. Let me get the Karnataka BJP in. The Chief Minister is saying repeatedly that this money is only going to be used, sir, for the purposes of Hindu welfare. Why should we not believe them? Mr. Prashanth GS.
Yes, Rahul, can you ever believe a congressman talking about maintaining sanctity with Hindus and Hindu temples? It can never happen because they are following the footsteps of A.O. Hume, who founded Congress, left it in the hands of Nehru, and Nehru's family is now running the Congress. So therefore, at no point in time, Congress believes that they should do anything good for the Hindus. They are the party who openly defied that Prana Pratishtha of Sri Ram Lalla should not happen. So therefore, we have thousands of instances to prove how Congress has always been anti-Hindu. And apart from the section 19, what you pointed out, I also want to point out section 25 of that same act, which says members from both Hindu and other religions may be appointed as members of the committee of management, which means for managing a Hindu temple, you want to have members from other religion. What sort of a secularism is this? Whereas in the recently concluded budget, which Siddaramaiah presented, what has he done? 100 crores for Waqf development, 10 crore for Mangalore Hajj Bhavan, then training facilities for Maulvis, and then to top it, 200 crores for Christians. What do Hindus get? Nothing. And now come back to the education sector, what Siddaramaiah has done.
He wants to develop. Prashanth GS, there's an allocation to Hindus also. 5 crores and other
Now I
allocations.
talk about that.
Not only
5
that,
crores he set aside, and the other 158 crores what he talk about is not for Hindu temples. It is for a public road which incidentally has Mantralaya temple on the way. So therefore you can't say it is for a Hindu temple. And the other thing, I'll point out one thing which blunder they've done in education sector. For Karnataka public schools, he wants to use the CSR funds. For developing UVC college, he wants to use CSR funds and alumni donations. Whereas for minority institutions, to build monarchy, there's a residential schools for minorities, he is going to give largesse from the government.
Okay, so
therefore,
we can end all this. We can end
extending
all this.
this,
We can end
Congress
all
has
this.
always been
I want to ask
anti-Hindu.
you, Mr. GS, why did you not move a bill scrapping the management of Hindu temples? Simple question to you.
Now, I completely understand that BJP in the past should have actually done much more than what we are standing up for. But that does not mean Congress can get away with this particular.
Okay, let me bring in Mr. Sohail. Let me bring in Mr. Sohail. Let me bring in Mr. Sohail. Look, all parties have dipped their hands into the funds of these temples, Mr. Sohail. That's a fact. But I want to ask you, do you believe today that there should be this rampant discrimination, that the state should even be involved in the management of all religious places, especially those of the Hindu community, specifically those of the Hindu community? Yes or no?
राहुल देखिए, एक तो इसमें देखिए 7% वक्फ फंड हम सालों से देते हुए आ रहे हैं. कौन सी भी हुकूमत हो, पिछले 9 साल से तो बीजेपी भी ले रही है ना सेंट्रल. सर मेरा सवाल खत्म करने दीजिए, मेरी बात मैं खत्म करने दीजिए. सर देखिए, उसके बाद प्रेजेंट हज मिनिस्टर हाजियों के ऊपर टीसीएस जीएसटी भी लगाते हैं, उन्हीं के पैसों से घूम के आ रहे हैं. और दूसरी चीज, वो जो भी टेंपल का फंड लिया जा रहा है, जो टेंपल में पैसे नहीं आते वही टेंपलों को डेवलप किया जाएगा. इंडोमेंट के लिए इस्तेमाल होगा. क्या मुसलमानों के लिए इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं पैसे? बीजेपी को जब तकलीफ नहीं हुई थी, इतने साल से तो वक्फ फंड ले रहे हैं ना हमारे पास से, हमारे मसाजिद से लेते हैं, हमारे दरगाहों से लेते हैं, हर जगह से पैसे ले रहे हैं. जब अगर इन्वॉल्वमेंट नहीं होना चाहिए तो ये भी एबॉलिश कर दीजिए ना, वक्फ फंड भी खत्म कर दीजिए. आप हाजियों के ऊपर जीएसटी और टीसीएस भी हटा दीजिए, आप वो भी हटाइए ना. एक चीज पे क्यों पकड़ के बैठे हुए? ये सिर्फ देखिए डाइवर्ट करने की कोशिश की जा रही है.
Okay, Mr. Sohail, I asked you a simple question.
Logically,
I asked you a simple question. I asked you a simple question. I asked you a simple question, sir. Can the Congress, sir, I'm asking you a simple question. Mr. Sohail, आप मेरी आवाज आ रही है? मेरी आवाज आपको? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm asking you a simple question. Can the Congress party define itself as secular when it is in the business of managing places of worship? It's a simple question. Yes, no.
सर देखिए, अगर है तो बीजेपी को भी सेंट्रल से आप लेकर आइए. बोलिए
अरे भाई, आपको तो बीजेपी कम्युनल लगती ही है.
टीसीएस भी हटा दीजिए, हाजियों के पास से भी हटा दीजिए. तो ये भी होना चाहिए.
ये की जो सेक्युलर प्रधान है,
see who are in the power,
okay, no question.
Let them get the bill in the upper house.
Okay,
let them get the bill in the upper house to
fundamentally, okay, calm down.
Doesn't make any sense, sir.
Okay, let me tell you viewers, 1 second. आपका ज्ञान सुना मैंने.
30 seconds.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Yes. See, to point out to Mr. Sohail what again the lies that the Congress is peddling. TCS is collected and it is as part of the income tax, which means when they file their returns, they can claim refund of the TCS. So therefore, Congress again is misleading people saying they're collecting tax on that. TCS will be collected beyond a particular threshold under the Income Tax Act. If you are giving more than 7 lakhs to overseas tour package, only then money would be collected, and that money will be set off against
Look,
your
viewers,
income taxes.
I told you, I didn't want to get into this business of who is getting what and what is getting whom. 1 second, please lower everyone's faders. You see, viewers, these are sensitive matters. I am not here trying to pit one denomination against the other. I'm asking a very fundamental question. Those who call themselves the guardians of secularism, those who have told us from 1947, 15th August stroke of midnight, that they will ensure a strict separation between church and state, those that militated against any demand to reconstruct the Somnath temple, viewers, because they said that the state cannot be polluted by religion. Those very same people today are busy meddling in religion. Whether it is on one side or the other, it doesn't matter to me, viewers. That's the fundamental question. Why are they meddling in religion? And if they are, when they promise one thing, what do you call those kind of people, viewers? That's the fundamental question. You call them hypocrites. Perhaps, viewers, we have to pay heed to the larger warning signs. That there are people amongst us who claim that they are something, but they're not. An election year, viewers, you have this opportunity, clear opportunity to decide. Do you want to go for the genuine article, or do you want to go for the people who pretend to be what they are not? I leave it to you, viewers. You heard this debate. I brought out one loophole. It could be one loophole too many. Another person says, look at section 25. It says that, look, members of other religious denominations can be appointed to temple boards to manage them. Two clear contradictions in the same bill. Why couldn't they have been amended? I don't know, viewers. But I'm going to move on.